Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a great honor to have Dr. Dina Khan with us today. Dr. Dina Khan has a PhD in social anthropology from University of Kent in Canterbury, UK. She is also a certified TEFL teacher and has worked with NGOs both in Pakistan and abroad, including UNFPA, Italian Association for Women in Development, Sahil and FPAT, in the field of gender, education and health. She has attended numerous international conferences and workshops. With her interest in women empowerment, Dr. Dina recognizes the need to provide women with economic and social opportunities. As CEO of Vista Consult, a multicultural group for professional offerings, training and project solutions based in Dubai, Dr. Dina oversaw projects focused on teacher training, recruitment services and program collaborations with international academic institutions.
Wanting to focus more on Pakistan, beginning in 2013, Dr. Dina initiated a series of school improvement and quality assurance programs in underdeveloped areas, bringing in international trainers to help underprivileged women improve their professional skills and economic standing. Since the death of her father, Mohsin Pakistan, Dr. Abdul Qadeer Khan, Dr. Dina has taken on the role of chairperson of Dr. A.Q. Khan Hospital Trust, Lahore. She is also chairperson, CEO of Dr. A.Q. Khan Foundation, a non-profit organization established by the family of overseas Dr. A.Q. Khan's social welfare and education projects, including the Khan Institute of Technology in Miyawali, vocational training centers and medical facilities. Dr. Dina is committed to continue her father's humanitarian work and his efforts to create a lasting legacy of social change for a strong, independent and prosperous Pakistan. We would now like to request Dr. Dina Khan to come and address the audience.
Firstly, I would like to apologize for making you wait today. I know that we were a little late, but this is my first visit to Karachi after about 10 years, and the people have been so welcoming, so loving that everywhere I go I've been a little delayed and I'm trying to catch up. So it's really a great joy for me to be here today, and thank you so much for the invitation. I have of course heard my father speak about Greenwich University over the years, but I never had the pleasure of visiting before, and actually now that I've seen today's the information that you presented, I am so impressed at what you've achieved, and I'm also inspired, because these are the things that my father really wanted. This is the kind of institution and the kind of work that my father was always trying to achieve. And I want to, because we're here talking about my father, I thought I would give you a few examples of life at home. I know that we've talked about my father as a Mohsin in Pakistan, but as a father, I also wanted to tell you how he was. And education was always important for my father right from the beginning, and even though he was very busy, he was working a lot, and we didn't see too much of him when I was very young, he always made sure that there was an emphasis on education for us. And I remember at the time when VCRs first came out, my father brought home a VCR, and he said to me and my sister, he said, okay, here's a VCR, and you're allowed to put it in your room. You're allowed to watch movies, but I will be checking every report card. The moment that your grades drop in your report card, that VCR is gone. And so we worked hard, we maintained our grades, we kept the VCR. And that is the kind of thing that he did. He made sure that we valued education. When it was time to go to university, my father and my mother sat down. At that time there was no internet, no nothing. They sat down, my father wrote to all the universities in England, and he got all the prospectuses, and he sat down with me and he discussed all the subjects. What do you want to do? What's your interest? This is what I think. Remember that whatever subject you do, you need to be able to earn a living from whatever you study. Don't assume that everything will be taken care of. You need to be able to provide for yourself. And those words, I think, are so important, because especially here in Pakistan, there's such a difference between the haves and the have-nots. And it's very easy to forget how difficult it is to be able to survive for so many people here. And I think that is something we need to keep in mind, and something that my father instilled in me and my sister all the time, that do not take what you have for granted. Do not take your situation for granted. It can change, and other people are not so lucky, and make sure you always have an understanding for what people are going through, and that you support anyone that you can, that you help whoever you can. When I went to university, I was 18 when I went to university, and my sister and I, we went to the UK. And at that time, I'm talking about the 80s, it was not so common for girls especially to go abroad. And you know, we had no family abroad in the UK, so I was being sent alone. And I remember many people spoke to my father, and they said, but you're sending your daughter to, abroad, she's going to England alone. How do you feel comfortable with that? And my father said, 18 years, we have taught them. We have taught them what's right, we've taught them what's wrong. We've taught them what's expected of them. Now I have faith that she knows what she has to do. She can make sensible decisions. The rest of it is up to her. It's her life to live. And that again is something that I really appreciate, because you know, as a father for a daughter, it is so important, I think. It is important to always support your children, but I think especially for girls, it is important in this country that girls get that support and that love from their families and from society, because we're still struggling. You know, it is still more difficult. And so looking back, at that time I took it for granted, but looking back, I really value how much independence he gave me and how much confidence he had in my abilities to be able to go out there, to do what I needed to do to live my own life. Although in the beginning, it was still the days of the landline, and my father used to call every week, and my mother used to tell him, listen, you know, she's at university, don't disrupt her so much, give her some freedom. And so my father would call up every 2 days, and he would say, your mother's in the shower, I haven't told her that I'm calling you, but I just wanted to see how you are. And that is how he was. And every week he would write to me. I would receive a letter from him every week in the post, and I would write back to him in all those years of university. And then when I got an answering machine, he would leave messages on the answering machine in the beginning, very awkward because he wasn't comfortable with the machine. Dina, this is your father. I'm just calling to see how you are. Are you all right? I love you. And he always, my father was so open with me and my sister, always told us how much he loved us, and we always told him the same. And again, I'm so grateful for those things. So, carrying on from there, as Senator Hasib Khan said, we don't want to dwell in the past, we also want to look at the future, because the future is where, you know, where we can make a difference. And so I want to just say in that sense that my family and I in particular are carrying on with my father's work. We have set up the foundation in my father's name, specifically to carry on with his work in education and in healthcare. And it is my hope particularly that we will be able to carry on influencing not only children of school age, but also going into university, to be able to give them the skills and the training that they need to be able to earn not just a livelihood for themselves and their family, but as my father always wanted, and as you have all discussed, to contribute to making Pakistan greater even than what it is now, because we have so much potential in this country. There is still so much that we can do. And if we can just get away from, be a little politically incorrect here and say, get away from the politics, get away from the corruption, which I have sadly seen firsthand in the last 2 years since my father passed away, that if we can move away from that and focus on the things that are important, which is family, faith, community, education, we can, inshallah, make this country the greatest that it could possibly, and my father's dream and his vision will come true. So thank you.